Hey, what's going on? I'm going to share with you today the exact process I've used to help countless men figure out what they're really looking for in life so they thrive personally, maritally, and professionally. It's called the Man Alive Way. Your life's map to total fulfillment, personally, maritally, professionally, without sacrificing your masculinity, who you really are, or your drive. If you stick with me in this webinar, I'm going to walk you through one of the powerful exercises I use with men that'll help you get clarity on the life you're really looking for, what's missing, and how to make it happen. You literally can take this today, print it out, hold on to it, and it will guide you from where you are to where you're trying to be in life. I'm glad you're here. So let's dive in. If you've achieved significant milestones and still feel that sense of emptiness or frustration, or they leave you wondering, what's it really going to take to find fulfillment? It's like you work so hard to get to a thing and then it deflates you in how little it does for you. Or you're totally out of balance with work and life. You're missing the things that matter most to you. You and your wife have become more like roommates than lovers. These are clues. Something is off. Something is missing. There's misalignments in your key values and priorities, and they're costing you fulfillment and happiness. We're going to find the answers for this today. So this webinar is for you. Imagine figuring out what the missing pieces in your life are, what's really going on inside you. Imagine having the life, the marriage, the career, the family, the home that you really want to have, and breaking free from these cycles that set up in our life of doing well, not so well. Imagine waking up to the life you really want to have every day. I'm going to show you today how to have deep, unshakable fulfillment across all dimensions of your life. Those hollow victories, those frustrations, the emptiness, they're clues. And here's what they're trying to teach you. You can never have enough of what you don't really need. So more of something will never take the place of something else. You can never have enough of what you don't really need. If you feel like you're missing out on the most important experiences in life with the people who matter most to you, this webinar is for you. This is your crossroads. What you'll discover today is going to change how you do life. You're going to end up with clarity in things that maybe you've never seen before. But I want to ask a couple favors of you. One is, give me your greatest focus for the next 35 minutes or so. I've poured my heart and soul into what I'm going to share with you. Countless hours have went into this. It's for you. Put away your cell phone, any distractions, anything that could interrupt you. Get a notepad out, take some notes for the exercise I'll teach you. Here's some things to expect today. I'm going to share my story. I'm going to share how Man Alive came about. I'm going to share my coaching process. I'm going to share some stories of men that have been impacted by what we do. I just want you to be open-minded. And at the end of this, I'll share an opportunity on how we can work together. And I'll just tell you now, like, the results are not typical, but any man that dives in and gives us everything he wants, the results you're going to hear are absolutely available for you. So that picture is actually from a Man Alive retreat I did a couple years ago. But here's a few stories of guys I've worked with. DT, he owns a 7-figure business. He was battling purpose. His marriage was broken, heart of gold, and yet just drifting through life. And here's what he says. I can't thank you enough, Bob. One-on-one coaching with you has changed my life. Thank you for pushing me, encouraging me, empowering me, and giving me the focus to breathe fire into everything I do. You gave me the knowledge to create a plan to improve the relationships that matter most. Also, the courage to put the plan into action. Drew, a senior leader, he said, Man Alive is more than just a plan. It's also looking through the layers of the key dimensions of my life at a level I've never seen before. It's amazing to have a roadmap along with the confidence I have to redefine my life and myself. Man Alive provided me with the time and the resources to reflect on what really matters and what to do about it. It all started with me being honest with myself and being okay with what needed to be done to change the outcomes in my life. I highly recommend Man Alive to the man considering Man Alive. Do it. It's an eye opening experience, a journey worth taking, an opportunity to seize. So, why now? Well, first, if you're anything like I was, it's way past time. I let things get away from me for much longer than they had to. I got in a cycle of setbacks and all, and you already know as a man, it's the things we don't talk about that are robbing from us. It's what lives in the shadows, the secrets, and the fringes that needs to be brought to light so we can overcome them once and for all. Also, time. Time is getting away. Time is our greatest commodity in life, and yet there's finite numbers to all of our lives. The sooner you deal with this, the quicker you get to change your life, your legacy, the people's lives that are in your life, your world, on and on and on. It allows you to navigate from where you are to where you want to be, chart a clear path, and start living that out as soon as tomorrow. Another group of guys that I've worked with. So, who's this for? Ultimately, the cliff note is it's for the guy who's ready to change. The guy that's had some success in his life, but know you have more potential than you've tapped into. The guy who feels frustrated in some area or in your marriage. You know you're living below your potential, and yet you're committed to figuring this out. You're committed to not only being successful, but you want to be significant in your world. You value that, and you're ready to go after it. You're tired of living in the cycles that you've been living in. Who this is not for. It's just not for the man who's not ready. The guy looking for a quick fix or a band-aid. The guy who's unwilling to be uncomfortable facing himself. The guy who resists change or blame shifts or it's not your fault. This is not for you. If you're not ready to dive in and go after this, then you're not ready to make some changes. This experience is designed for self-driven, motivated men who are committed and serious about transforming every aspect of your life, your personal life, your marital life, your professional life. So an overview of Man Alive. It's 4 questions that are simple and yet profound in what they do. We focus on 3 areas of your life, your personal life, your marital, relational life, and your career. It's who you are, how you love, and what you do, and how fulfilled you are in those things. Some of the outcomes that I see in guys is we break cycles of fear, guilt, and shame. We really identify the fears that sabotage you. You get to face what's really going on inside you, understand backstories and triggers about yourself. I call it your BS filter. Like your heart wants to live and your head is where all the fears and the whys and the hows. And we have to overcome your BS filter so your heart can really talk about the life it's created to live. I want to help you do more than making a living. I want to help you make a life. More than success, have significance, be fulfilled and happy, matter to those who matter most to you, while still being even more successful than you've ever been. 4 questions designed to help you get from where you are to where you really want to be in life. So if we haven't met by now, you know, my name's Bob. I'm 60 years old. I'm a man's man. I'm from Ohio, grew up in Virginia Beach. I love to hunt. I love the outdoors. I love staying in shape. I've studied and taught leadership for about 4 decades now. And I'm on a journey to help as many men as possible to thrive in life, partly because I believe when a man gets it right, your world is better. And when you don't, your world struggles and suffers. I believe in men. Ultimately, I'm out to live a significant life and leave a legacy that I'm proud of. My mom passed away a few years ago. And I read that the average person in America lives about 30,000 days, 82 years and some change. And I realized I was in my final 10,000 days of life, potentially. And I got 10,000 pennies for Christmas several years ago. And every day, every morning, what I do is I go down and I take a penny out of the jar that had 10,000 pennies. And I reflect on how I did yesterday, how I lived. Did I matter? Did I connect? Was I present? And then I reflect on the day I'm going to have. I say a prayer and I drop that penny in the formerly empty jar. Now it has almost 2,000 pennies in it. And that's one of my ways of measuring the weight of one day and trying to make sure that I'm living a life of purpose. I've done a lot of things right. That's my family right there. My wife is beside me. The two girls on the left are my daughters. The boy on the right is my son and our grandkids. I've been married 38 years. My wife is my biggest fan. I have a sheepadoodle named Maverick. I'm a dog lover. My tribe is amazing. We have a lot to celebrate. We love life, and I'm squeezing the juice out of life each and every day. But I'm going to tell you, I've done a lot of things wrong. I made a lot of mistakes. I battled secret negative self-beliefs that cost me a lot. They lived within me for decades. And one of the beliefs I had was that if you really knew me, you wouldn't like me. And that included my wife. And so I hid my secret battles and I thought I was the only one. I didn't talk to anybody about it. My success got in the way of my accountability. The more successful I got, the less anybody questioned me or challenged me. And I needed to be challenged. I ended up isolated on an island. And if you ask me, I was okay until one day I wasn't. My whole world blew up. I had to rebuild my life. I had to rebuild my marriage. We were given by our counselor a 1% chance of saving our marriage over 15 years ago. And now here we are celebrating life together, unlike we ever have. I had to overcome my demons. I had to break free. I had to figure out how to live beyond the shadow of failure, fear, guilt, and shame. And I learned a lot about the power of love and grace. The first thing God says in the Bible that's not good, he says, man alone is not good. That's a truth. My core value, as I told you a while ago, is when a man gets it right, your world, our world is better. When we don't, your world, our world suffers. I want to help you get it more right than you ever have. So I want to share a little more about Man Alive, how it came to be. I was sitting in a counselor's office and I asked him a question. And his first reply was, do you really want to know that answer? When he gave me the answer, it was harsh. And I felt like what I heard in my spirit was, the world has labeled you. And I saw like an image of a tag in a shirt get cut off. And what I heard was, but I can set you free of that. You can change. And from that moment, I worked on myself and I learned, in fact, that a man can change. You can overcome what's lived within you for years or decades, struggles, personal demons. And over 15 years ago, that meeting happened, and here we are now. Life is freaking amazing. As a business consultant, my first client was Canon. I worked with Auntie Anne's Pretzels, iFly, a lot of corporate America. And it dawned on me one day as I worked with the executives, the founders, the owners, the C-suite, the leaders, that I was meeting guys just like I used to be, doing well professionally, bankrupt in life or marriage. And I came home from that and I told my wife, I said, I'm meeting guys just like I used to be. They're doing well, they're struggling in other areas. And I simply said, I can help them. Guys that were drifting, guys that were missing out, coping, managing as opposed to overcome, not knowing how to have a marriage that they really wanted, not knowing how to connect, not knowing how to be vulnerable or connect with the world around them, wearing masks between their personal and professional selves. And I've always been able to connect with men. And these guys, as they confided in me, I decided I wanted to help them and do something about it. So I reached out to a writer, someone who could help draw my story out. Paid them a lot of money, and it was from that they pulled the Man Alive, is what I named it, but the experience of my life going from dark days to rebuilding so I could help guys walk through a process. And then I asked someone I knew who was going through tough times. I said, "Can I beta test Man Alive on you for free? I just need your feedback." And he walked through it and told me what worked, what was confusing, what was out of sync, and all of that. And then I went to another guy and I asked him, "Would you beta test Man Alive with me for the same cost? I just want your feedback. I need to know what's sequentially right or wrong." And he gave me that. And after I felt like I had Man Alive right, I started doing Man Alive retreats, Friday dinner through Sunday lunch. And men paid $3,000 for that experience. I took 6 to 8 executives at a time, and the change was phenomenal. Like, it was such a powerful weekend. But what happened out of that was I realized we would have these weekends, and then men would come back to reality, having to deal with life, marriage, business, and all these things that we talked about in this brave, safe space when we were together. And so out of that, what happened was I developed Man Alive coaching, where I work with the man for a longer period of time because we're on a journey. We can't fix stuff in a day. We can't fix it in a weekend. And my observation is men are not always willing or ready to get honest until they feel like it's time and they find this space, a confidant, someone they can trust in who can give unfiltered feedback. When they find that, men are ready to dive in. And that's what I've created with Man Alive. And then flash forward a couple years ago, I made another decision. I told my wife, I said, "I want to burn the boats. I want to start working only with men. I don't want corporate America anymore. I want to really impact men's lives." Because again, when a man gets it right, his world is better. When you don't, your world suffers. And so I've been working exclusively towards helping men for a while now. I still work with corporate America. If they contact me, I do. And I still have a couple other clients that I work with. But the truth is, this stuff works. I want to share a couple stories with you. Greg. Greg said, "Hey, Bob, the ROI speaks for itself in life and business. I have no intention of stopping working with you one-on-one. Bob solved my biggest issue. He taught me how to work through self-doubt. I've always struggled with self-doubt and limiting beliefs. Bob opened my true potential, not just in my business, but in my life overall." What would you say to the man considering Man Alive? No matter where you are in life, Man Alive will add value. The earlier, the better. I want to share with you how Man Alive is different from other things that are out there, because there's probably no doubt you've tried to solve this on your own, tried to figure some of it out, and yet here you are, stuck or frustrated. I relate. I did the same thing for a long time. But some of the ways that men try to solve this is, one, we manage instead of solve. We try to get better coping skills or ways to manage our anger or things that are underneath the current of our life versus learning how to solve it and move on. Managing consequences. That was me. I just thought I was getting smarter at CYA, not realizing one day the consequences were going to get away from me and cost me more than I ever budgeted for this area of my life. We treat these things as issues instead of problems. Issues are the recurring things. And so we try to get rid of the squeaky wheel and not realizing, like, until you get to the root of them, you're just chopping fruit off the tree. You've got to go deeper. Also, a couple areas, other areas guys work on: compensating. We struggle in one area, we'll try to make it up in another area, pour energy into our personal life and yet feel empty or disconnected in other areas of our life. Imbalance like this leads to guilt or loneliness, or that we've missed out on significant, meaningful relationships and happiness. Or we dive into self-help, online courses, trying to look for our own breakthrough. And when it doesn't happen, it falsely disillusions us and makes us feel like it just sucks to be us. We may never be able to change. And that's not true at all. Or you may have invested some time and money trying to figure this out, and yet still stuck, still struggling. And you may see this as a dangling carrot that's unattainable. That's not true. Like, all you've learned is that the wrong approaches won't get you to where you're trying to go. Here's some things that, again, my story becomes your story. Why Man Alive is effective. I'm not interested in giving you coping skills or strategies on top of the ones you already have. We're going to address internal challenges at the root so you overcome them once and for all. We're going to break free of cycles and things that have been in your life for a long time. Actionable, personalized guidance where you break through things you've not broken through before, help you get more real than you've ever been. The Man Alive is an inside out experience. I want to help you solve internal things so it works on the outside. It's bespoke. It is customized to you. This is not a template. We have 4 questions. They're like bumpers on a bowling alley. They guide us down a path, but the things you need are unique to you and they are customized to you. We're going to find comprehensive long-term growth and fulfillment strategies that once your mindset is changed, the strategies stick. You agree that feeling heard and feeling like the experience is customized to you, to deep transformational change, lifetime value is immensely greater than some superficial fix that makes you feel good for a day and same old you keeps showing up. What would it be worth to finally figure it out and live beyond it once and for all? What are the compound effects in your life, your marriage, your career? Being more courageous, more intentional, greater purpose. This is about a future where success is not just measured by your income, but it's happiness, fulfillment, to matter more than you ever have, to be significant, and to leave a legacy that you're proud of. This is what can truly change your life. This is why we're still hanging out. Their words. Man Alive is an avenue of recognizing who you are, the values in your life, and how to create and or improve the disciplines to build a better life. It may even open your eyes to the things right in front of you that you can't see. If life is a puzzle, which I believe it is, Man Alive will help you get all the pieces out of the box, place them on the table, organize the pieces to know where to go to put it all together. You need to see all the pieces to know how it fits and to know the picture of what it'll look like when it's all done. What would you say to the man considering Man Alive? Men need this to tear down the walls and enjoy their life. Man Alive is about discovering why you are where you're at with what matters to you and developing a plan to help you get to your desired destination. Another client. Transformational coach isn't just a title for Bob. It's a mission statement. I've worked with Bob one-on-one in small group mastermind and can recommend his work without hesitation. He zeroes in on the core of whatever you bring to the table and draws out solutions that are as simple as they are sophisticated. The results of my work with him include dramatically improved clarity, movement in areas I was previously stuck, and increased income and opportunity. So get your pen out, get something to write on. I'm going to walk you through the exercise now, the 4 questions that'll give you your roadmap to the life you're looking for. There's the questions. Where am I? Where do I want to be? What's in the way? How do I get there? Where are you? I want you to think of your personal life, marital life, professional life, each of them on their own. And without using the number 7, 1 through 10, rate where you are personally. How would you rate where you are today? 1 through 10 without a 7, your marriage. 1 through 10 without a 7, your career. How would you say you're doing in those 3 areas? When we work together, we do 10 areas. But for this exercise, it'll help you with clarity on what you're really trying to do in life. Jeff said, I discovered how to assess all areas of my life and chart a path to a renewed approach for happiness. Don't you want to know how to achieve fulfillment and happiness? How to matter more than you ever have? Second question, where do you really want to be? Imagine that you call me in a year from today. So you're in the future. You're not today. You're not going to call and tell me about what you might do. You're calling to tell me what's happened. And this is the call. Bob, you're not going to believe it. I just had the best year of my life. Again, tell me what's happened, not what's going to happen. What would you tell me has happened in your personal life? Write it down. And this is where you let your heart speak. Your head wants to diminish it and say, how will it happen? And fear and all of that. Just write from your heart. What's the best year you could imagine? Your marriage, what's the best year you could imagine? Your career, what's the best year you could imagine? Stop before you go forward and write this down as clearly as you possibly can. Clarity allows you to move forward with greater predictability in life. Otherwise, you're driving in a fog. You don't know where you're going. You can't go fast. You're more reactionary. When you really get clear, science says the clearer you are on your future, the more likely it is to happen. Andrew says, I arrived with little direction and I left with a specific plan for personal development. Wouldn't you like to have that clarity? Wouldn't you like to be able to see the future before it happens and then know how to live into it each and every day? Third question, what's in the way? Now I want you to go back to your brain, your BS filter. This is your subconscious behavior. When you think about your ideal year personally, what's your brain saying right now on why that cannot happen? Your marriage, what's it saying? Your career, what's it saying? Be very clear. Get word specific about your answer. I'd love to have that year. However, I want that marriage. However, I want that career. However, because now we're getting to the root of subconscious behaviors that live in your life. What's in the way of you getting the life you're really wanting? Recurring triggers, backstories, and things like that that you have to dig into. Fourth question, how do I get there? Now, I want you to think about the life you really want to live, that where do I want to be? For your personal life, what's the smallest step you have to take? Be specific. You may have to start, stop, add, delete, increase, decrease. What's the step? For your marriage, what do you need to change right now to start making that happen? For your career, what's the change? And the thing is, you take a step, it will reveal the next step. You don't need the whole journey right now. Donnie said, Bob solved my biggest issue. He taught me how to work through self-doubt and limiting beliefs. Andrew, I arrived with little direction. I left with a specific plan for personal development. The biggest challenge I solved was how. Knowing my problem was easy. Solving my problem was the hard part. Bob helped me find my how. I would highly recommend Man Alive to anyone battling something that's holding you back from being your best self. Would you like to know your how? Wouldn't you like to move past, to have a smoking hot, rock solid marriage, to have a life that you just thrive in, that you laugh, you love, happiness, fulfillment, and to have the greatest career or business you've ever had? So here's exactly how Man Alive will look for you. By the way, that brave and safe space, I've learned a long time ago that there's a difference in safe space and brave space. I create that for you to where you can be yourself, total confidentiality, and we can create a powerful experience together. We'd get on a scope call, find out where you really are, understand your unique challenges, your aspirations, your values, the outcomes, the KPIs, the metrics that you're looking for, your preferred future, your vision. I'd help you get clear on it as we go. Like, what are you really after? And I would almost say there's things in you that you don't even know to speak about right now that you'd get clear on as we go. We'd identify uniquely you, your saboteurs. What is it that keeps tripping you up? What is it that lives within you that keeps you from living into the life you really want to live? That's subconscious behaviors, that's backstories, origin stories. There are things in you that are specific to you that are trying to keep you from living the very life you're wanting. And then your strategies. The reason we deal with strategies after mindset is mindset eats strategy for breakfast. It's like New Year's Eve into New Year's Day. We can't try to have a new year when we have old us. We have to learn what's really going on internally, and then we put strategies on top of that. I call this coaching process water. I told you there's 4 questions, but as we go, we just follow where it's trying to go. This is why it's customized to you. So the summary is, where are you? We'll get a handle on that. Where you really are, no holds barred, clarity on what you really want. I'll help you know how to work that out of your heart, what's internally limiting you or sabotaging you from that, and then the roadmap that will align to your deepest desires so you live a fulfilled, purpose-driven life and you matter more than you ever have. And it's accountability, it's talking through, it's being honest, being candid, that space where you're able to really deal with you. If you're ready, really, I mean, really ready to unlock your full potential and experience the life that you really want to live, the truth is, Man Alive works. It just works, period. It's not in test mode. It's not from a book. It's tried. It's proven. Countless men have walked through it. I experienced it, turned it into this, and now I've seen many men walk through it that have experienced the same thing. Here's what Brian said. I haven't had a more productive experience in my lifetime. Man Alive is beyond worth the investment. He went on. The biggest challenge I solved was putting a plan in place to prioritize my efforts. It's more clear now what has to happen and in what order. While nothing will be solved overnight, I continue to gain clarity over what matters most in my life. I have a plan to address and impact those areas now. My biggest surprise was how comfortable I became letting my guard down. I will absolutely recommend Man Alive to any man who lacks clarity. I'd say to any man considering Man Alive to be prepared to make a change. Allow yourself the opportunity to let walls come down, and you'll have the opportunity to create a fresh start. I'd say that Man Alive is a chance for the man who has had success to get real. Having excess in one area of life often leads to a deficiency somewhere else. Acknowledging our weaknesses and failures is hard. It's even harder putting a plan in place to improve. Man Alive gives men the ingredients necessary to recreate their legacy. So countless men have been impacted by this process. Testimonies consistently highlight clarity, confidence, courage, fulfillment, greater life, greater marriage, overcoming, moving on, living a life that just fulfills you in all capacity. And the truth is, you can keep doing what you've always done and keep getting the same results, or you can bet on you. So a few FAQs that come my way from guys that are worth talking about. Time constraints. You're busy, I'm busy. Man Alive is made to work into your life so you can truly have the experience you're looking for without feeling rushed and without feeling like we're wasting time. Will it work for me? Skepticism. Because we've tried so many things, it's easy to think this won't work for me. And yet at the same time, the results speak for themselves. If you want to change, it'll change you. If you're ready to really transform your life, your marriage, your business, Man Alive will help you do that. Asking for help, perceived weakness. We'd rather drive lost than pull over and ask anyone for directions. And yet at the same time, It takes a lot of strength to finally acknowledge, I can't do this on my own. I need some help. Privacy, 100% confidentiality. Our meetings never go anywhere. I never share any of it with anybody. You have to feel that. Otherwise, we can't have the interactions we need to. Fear of change. Your comfort zone's killing you. Your predictability is killing you. It's only when we get outside of that that we really start to change. And we're not going to change for change's sake. We're going to be predictable in what we work on and change. Effective. These are proven methods, proven guidances that will work for you. And I have a coach. Who I am for you in 3 months will be different than who I am and better than who I am today. I am always evolving to be better for you than who I was when we started. And then cost. What's the lifetime value of solving this? So you're at a crossroads now. You have to make a decision. You have to make a choice. Will you keep walking the path you have? It's predictable. You know where you're going to end up if you do. Or will you pivot today? Man Alive is not just about quick fixes or surface level feel good strategies. It's not from a book. It's not untried. It's proven. Countless men have walked this path and changed their life. Man Alive is a deep dive into you, your mindset, your purpose, and personal growth and transformation will redefine how you approach life, marriage, and your career. Here's what Man Alive's going to do to you, do for you, through you. As a recap, it'll help you get crystal clear on what you really want in life and how to have it. It'll help you see your greater values and purpose. It'll give you your strategy for the life you're looking for. It'll help you deal with your mindset, the voices that play in your head, the stuff that keeps you from the life you really want to live. It'll give you greater confidence through making the right shifts in your life. You'll quit living in the shadow of what's been that's shaped you in wrong ways. It'll give you focused and motivated accountability that works for where you're going, offers you lasting change and fulfillment in all aspects of your life. You'll get off the merry-go-round, the cycles of fear, guilt, and shame, and fulfillment and unfulfillment, renewed happiness and success, improved marriage, key relationships. You'll find and reach greater potential than you ever have, and you'll thrive. So what's next? I'd like you to schedule a complimentary coaching call with me. I want to learn what your challenges are, what's keeping you from the life you're really trying to live, and how I might be able to walk beside you into that life, into the vision you have comprehensively in all areas of your life. And there's several ways you can work with me. We can discuss that on the call. And I want to share one more story. It's just a sentence from a guy who walked with me through Man Alive, a guy named Dex. He says, "Thank you for Man Alive. This will forever better my life and the ones closest to me. Remember the core value. When a man gets it right, your world is better. And when you don't, your world struggles and suffers." I want to help you get it right. So thank you for your time. I don't take it lightly. It means a lot that you hung out with me today.